抓饭。相比于汉族婚礼，喜宴上会摆出非常多的菜肴。塔吉克族的同胞们对食物并不在意，比起山珍海味，他们更喜欢跳舞。这正儿八经的抓饭，你看这里面有肉，我可以吃吗？
吃。
是啊，这肉，这肉好香啊！跟他们一起吃抓饭，
吃过吗？
在他们这边吃这个手抓饭的，就真的是用手抓的，然后捏成这样小团，往嘴里面喂。然后这个是牦牛肉啊，牦牛不仅生长在青藏高原，在帕米尔高原同样有。
Okay, everybody, let's start today's lesson. All right, so today's first character is xiao. Okay, xiao. So xiao means howl, roar, whistle, scream. So usually it's describing animals howling. Usually is very long and high pitched. Not necessarily high pitched. I think usually is long. Okay. And also refer to whistles. Okay, refer to whistles, and also referring to military firing, like the bullets and cannon bullets that goes through the air, making that sound like shoo, shoo, this kind of sound. Okay, and so basically is referring to that kind of prolonged shearing sound. It's called a xiao. Okay. Could be any animal making or military firing. Okay, makes those sound, right? So could be birds, could be animals like tigers, even elephants, things like that. Okay, so this is xiao. Okay, xiao. So the right hand side is a character of su. 严肃的肃. 严肃的肃. 严肃 means very serious, stern, have that kind of attitude. Okay, and so this kind of howling usually give you that kind of feeling. Okay, serious, and usually those are very neat, not like a bird chirping, like a it's like a small sounds but many and noisy. Okay, these are not noisy, like these are piercing sound and has very strong integrity and has kind of a penetrating quality. Okay, and so that's why they use 严肃的肃 to describe that kind of quality. Okay, so this is xiao. Next one, hou. Hou means roar, growl, howl, yell, shout, bark. Okay, so this is referring to beasts. Beasts, howling loudly. Okay, it's called a hou. And also referring to people making very fierce, loud sounds when they are angry. Okay, so and then you call them hou. Okay, usually has to be angry. Okay, if they make a loud sound but not angry, that's no, you don't call them hou. Okay, And also sometimes this character would describe some natural phenomenons, like a rain, okay, like a rainstorm, the wind howling, okay, you can call them 吼啊，风在吼 okay, and also it can describing some the big horns of huge ships and like big cannons, right? The artillery, big cannons when they're firing, like those are big loud sound, okay? And so this you can use this character to describe them as well, okay? So but the original meaning is beasts howling loudly. So let's take a look at that. The right hand side is 孔, okay? Now 孔 has the meaning of big, okay? 孔 has the meaning big. So big plus the mouse radicals, that means describing that the animal making the loud noise, okay? While doing that, they usually open their mouths big, okay? That's the meaning, okay? So this is 吼 how again, kind of means same thing, like howl, wail, cry loudly, yell, scream, okay? How now so remember, like when you say 吼, that accompany with anger, okay? But how oftentimes accompany with what? With sorrow, like with deep sorrow, okay? And so I think that's the difference, okay? And let's take a look at that. So the right hand side is the character called 好. Now 好 has the meaning of what? Meaning has meaning of high, of intensity, okay? So it's energy is high with the intensity, okay? It's called a 好. 好 basically has, for example, like 豪宅, right? 豪宅 means like what? It's a very extravagant home, okay? They call it 豪宅. 土豪 土豪 means what? Means these people get like get their quick fortune and all of become rich all of a sudden, and then in Chinese we call them 土豪 and so this is 好. Next one, 逃 逃 is cry loudly, called 逃, okay? So this 逃 specifically describing cry loudly, okay? So again, the cry that's expressing sorrow, okay? Sorrow, sadness, okay? So because of that, and how also has that meaning. So therefore, we've been saying again and again, in Chinese, they oftentimes combine two characters with the same meaning together and to form a word, okay? So 嚎啕 is a word, means wail, cry loudly, okay? So 嚎啕, you can say 嚎啕大哭 好 逃, let's say, so right hand side is the character 逃 so 逃 is basically this 逃 is a terracotta container, okay? Basically these are that's what it is, okay? 陶器 陶 and so now this terracotta vessels are very common, okay? In ancient times, that's as far as the containers concerned, probably most of the containers are made out of those materials, okay? And so therefore has the meaning of common and many, okay? And so originally these words means means talkative, means chatter, talkative, say a lot of things, okay? But later on, they use this character to describe loud crying, okay? So this is 逃. Next one, 嘶, 嘶. 嘶 means neigh, which is horses making their sound, called a neigh, 嘶. So in English called a neigh, right? Neigh, horse neigh. But in Chinese, somehow they feel like the horse is making 嘶 sound, okay? Horse, neighing of a horse, okay? And also it means gravel voiced, husky throated. So that means this because of sickness or because of tiredness, and the voice get very coarse, get very rough, okay? And that's called 嘶哑, 嘶. So not smooth, okay? So this is 嘶. Let's take a look at character. So right hand side is the character of 嘶. Now this 嘶 has the meaning of what? Meaning of break off, meaning of break open, okay? Break means break, and break apart, okay? And so they use that to describe when people start losing voice. The voice is very rough and lose its integrity, and as if like a voice is broken into pieces, okay? So that's why they use 嘶 to describe that idea. Okay, next one, 嗡. 嗡 means buzz, hum, buzz, hum, just to describe sound of flying bees and airplanes, because airplanes has the engine, and when engine run has that that sound, okay? And the bees, because their wing flapping frequency is very high, so that making that buzzing sound. Okay, so 嗡 is onomatopoeia to describe insects making those sound when they're flying. Okay, and also sometimes, also very common, is to describe some machines, mechanical machines, making the sound when they're operating. The most common example is airplanes, okay? And also, there are other machines, when they operate, they will make that sound, okay? And also describing insects like bees, like mosquitoes, okay? And flies, okay? So when they fly nearby, you'll see that sound, okay? So this is 嗡. If you look at the characters, so the right hand side is the character of 嗡. 嗡. So 嗡 is basically representing the sound of this character. Okay. And next one. 聊. 聊 is used to describe a sound of a voice, which is very clear, very bright, okay? Bright with some kind of resonance, okay? And so to describe that kind of sound, if the sound has that kind of quality, and we call them 聊, 嘹亮, 嘹亮. So resonant, loud, and clear, okay? That kind of quality of sound called 聊. And so what kind of sound is have that quality? So for example, it could be describing some kind of singing voice, or describing some trumpet. That's a very good example. Trumpet that makes the sound, okay? It's 嘹亮. Let's take a look at the characters. So this one, the right hand side is 了. 了. This character on the right is referring to burning some kind of wood, to sacrifice, offer sacrifice to the heaven. Okay, so that's the meaning of liao. Now, when they do that, so because you're making a fire, burning a fire, and usually that fire is not small fire; it's pretty big, and the fire goes up into the sky, and then you can see it clearly from far. Okay, from far. And so they try to use the phenomenon of a fire, which is like very bright and clear, and you can see very far, to describe the quality of a sound, which is very clear. Very clear. It will go very far. So even very far, you can still hear it very clearly. Okay, so that's liao. Okay. Next one, 华 hua is it's also a onomatopoeia. Is trying to describing the sound of thump or goggling. Hua. And so what kind of sound? For example, one is here is an example. 铁门哗的一声拉上了。Okay, 哗的一声拉上了。And so this is describing a steel door. Okay, a steel door that when they close, because the steel door, when they close, they will make that pretty loud, very strong thump, very strong noise. Okay, and so that kind of noise you can say 哗哗哗的一下哗啦一下哗啦哗哗哗啦一下。Okay, so and also sometimes you can say for the sound a waterfall makes. Okay, like hua hua la 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 hua la la. Okay, so that's the sound of waterfall. Okay, it's this character also has a second pronunciation called hua. Hua means clamor, noise. So people, so means lots of people making lots of noise. Okay, lots of noise, and it's called a hua. And but also this has a meaning of making a noise to boast. Okay, to boast and himself. Okay, so it has that kind of meaning. So so basically you're making big noise to get people's attention. Okay, that kind of thing. And so so the common words, for example, 喧哗, right? 喧哗, or 哗众取宠, right? And so this is basically means that they making big noise and get people's attention, and the purpose is to attract people's attention and get what they want. Okay, so it's called 哗 哗. And take a look at the characters. So this one on the right hand side is 哗. Now this 哗has what kind of meaning? So this 哗, which is the same character for 花 in ancient time, which means flower. So obviously this means like very bright, beautiful, that kind of meaning. Okay, and so they use this hua to describe that kind of big noise people are making, because the purpose of making this noise is trying to attract people's attention, and the purpose of attracting people's attention is wanting people to appreciate them, to appraise them, to praise them, and to honor them. Okay, so that's as if like flowers getting attention of people, right? And to appreciate their beauty. Okay, so this is hua. Next one, 西 now 西 is also onomatopoeia. Is to describe people laughing. Okay, a type of people laughing. Okay, 西西嘻嘻嘻嘻 so 嘻嘻哈哈 for example, a very common one is 笑嘻嘻笑嘻嘻嬉笑嬉皮笑脸嘻嘻哈哈 can 嘻嘻哈哈 okay. Remember that I think either yesterday or the day before yesterday we already learned ha, right? And this ha, one of the meaning is describing people's laughing. And so xi also describing people's laughing. Xi ha. So that's why xi xi ha ha. They put them together again to describe people's laughing. Now, xi xi ha ha means what? Means laughing. These are people when people when they are joking around, playing games, making those laughing sound. Okay, so it's not some kind of serious thing. This is a very light-hearted type of laughing. Okay, it's called a 嘻嘻哈哈嘻笑嘻嘻嘻嘻. So let's take a look at the characters. So this one on the right-hand side is 喜. Now, of course, 喜 representing the sound, but also carry the meaning because 喜 means happy. Okay, means she's happy. So 嘻嘻 is the sound that there's a laughing sound people make when they are happy. Okay, so this is 喜. Next one, 嚷. Okay, 嚷 means uproar, shout, call, rebuke. Okay, and so this is called a 嚷 嚷. 嚷. So basically, this is it's yeah. Just remember, this is someone that's talking loudly. Okay, talking loudly with certain level of anger, of disappointment. Okay, and so that's why here's that has the meaning of rebuke. Okay, there. Okay, that's called a 嚷. Now this one has a second pronunciation called 嚷. When you say 嚷, that just simply means shout or yell or making uproar. Okay, basically it's just say talking loudly. Now that's not necessarily has the attitude of rebuking, but just talking loudly because too many people there. Otherwise you can't hear. That's why you raise your voice. Okay, and so therefore this character they have oftentimes has how let's say this 吵吵嚷嚷 okay yeah 吵嚷叫嚷 and so this one 嚷嚷 yeah 嚷嚷 so when you say 嚷嚷 that means yeah this thing is here, so 嚷嚷 should go there. I don't know, I need to move that to a different place. Okay, that should be 嚷嚷 okay. No 嚷 okay, so this is 嚷 and 嚷. Next one okay, so this character has three pronunciations. Okay, so different tone of this character carries different meanings. Okay, if you say that indicates a question. That indicates a question. So for example, 你说什么? So they say what are you saying? Okay, so that poses a question. Okay, got it. So it's the second tone that means a question, indicates a question. Okay, and if pronounced as that means indicates a surprise. Okay, like hey, like huh, wow, what is it? Okay, so that's a surprise called yeah. 他就说 for example, 这个钢笔怎么不出水了 So that means like why why the pen's ink stop flowing out. Okay, so it's kind of surprise. Okay, so is a surprise. Okay, and next pronunciation is so is indicates a affirmation. Okay, indicates agreement. Okay, I say 就这么办吧 is that means okay, let's do it this way. Okay, so this is indicates a confirmation or affirmation. Okay, so this is now let's take a look at the character itself. So this one has the on the right hand side. Now obviously this obviously just representing the sound of this character. Okay, next one. Hey. Okay, let's see. How many we got? Okay, not four more. Hey, hey is hey. First is it is a interjection calling a person's attention. Okay, it's a hey like that. Okay, express a hello or draw attention to. Okay, and so for example, hey, 老钟到这儿来 that means hey, Mr. Zhong, come over here. Okay, so that's purely just draw attention. Okay, or you can express surprises and let's say hey, 这种是少见hey, 这种是少见 that means that hey, this is kind of stuff we don't see it often. Okay, and also you can express proud and praise like hey, 咱工农终于当家做主了 Okay, yeah, and so this is a hey, and so sometimes also this hey, oftentimes you can see it in songs. Okay, in songs it's some kind of interjection to to bring some kind of emotion out, not necessarily has specific meanings. Okay, so second meaning of this character is basically an onomatopoeia, basically describing a sound like a laughing sound. Hey hey hey, a laughing sound. Okay, so this is hey. Now this is very simple. The right hand side is the character hey. Hey means darkness, right? Means darkness, secret. Okay, means close off, not disclosing. Okay, and so so that's hey hey, and so basically this is the original meaning. Original character of hey is stuff burning become black. Okay, that's the original meaning of that hey. So here it's just representing the sound. Next one, E. E also is a onomatopoeia, is describing a sound, a creaking sound, a chirping sound, also sometimes a laughing sound. Now a moving sound like the 门咿呀一声打开了. So that means the hinge of the door is not that smooth. When they open, it makes that creaking sound. Okay. It's called 一 咿呀 咿呜 so 咿呀 is try to describing a very small child when they start to learning to speak. Okay, and they making this 咿呀 sound, which is try to mimic what adults are saying, but they can't really say it. Okay, so that's just making that 咿呀 sound. All right, and also sometimes describing this 咿呀 sound a door makes, a window makes, or on a boat makes, okay, that kind of sound, okay. So now this on the right hand side is the character of e. Now this e is a pronoun to refer to a third person. Okay, it's an Asian form. Okay, and the modern Chinese they use ta, but in Asian time they use e. And so this is saying that e is trying to make a sound, make a laughing, is for the purpose of the third person. Okay, and so that's why they use this e over here. Okay, so the original meaning of this character is smiling, 勉强笑 it's called 怎么样 smiling, smiling unwillingly. Okay, unwillingly, like 勉强 barely smiling. Okay, it's not from the heart, but it's, just put up smile for the third person. Okay, that's the original meaning. But now they actually we don't use this original meaning anymore. But it's just basically means describing laughing sound or iya sound that some mechanics makes. Okay, so this is e. Next one, ya. Ya means this is a particle used to used at the end of the sentence or end of a phrase to express surprise, or some kind of mild emphasis. Okay, so that's the first meaning. The second meaning is it's just simply onomatopoeia. Okay, onomatopoeia. So that's ya. Let's take a look at that. So on the right hand side is the character of ya. Ya. So this is ya means teeth. Okay, and here representing the sound, but also like ya, iya. So when people make that they have to open the mouth and reveal their teeth. Okay, that's why they use this ya. Okay, next one is now this is the most common interjection character in Chinese language. Okay, and so therefore this has all 5 tones. Okay, all 5 tones. And so the first one is basically well, what, why. So this is basically express a surprise, okay, a praise, a affirmation, that kind of meaning. Okay, so like 多么美丽的夜晚. So that means such a beautiful night. Okay, so this is just try to express the intensity of your emotion. Okay, next one, is indicating the other person to say it again. Okay, it's just that to indicating that it's questionable. It's I haven't get it. Would you please say it again? That type of thing. Okay, and so 你说谁你想过这些事没有就是 is trying to get a person's attention to repeat the saying or rethink the thing again. Okay, and so this is now third one is is it indicates a surprise or doubt. Like so, For example, 啊，这怎么回事儿？That means what? What's going on here? Okay, so this is okay, indicating surprise or doubt. And then next one is that means indicates agreement. Okay, indicates agreement, and also agreements, sudden understanding, or surprise, praise, sorrow, regret, all those emotions. Okay, so it really depends on the context, and then you have to decide what kind of emotion it is. Okay, 对了啊，原来是他。Okay, that's basically a sudden understanding, right? 黄河，你是我们民族的摇篮。That just means a praise, right? And so it really depends on the context. Okay, so the last one is the fifth tone, 轻声啊。That basically means to emphasize the whatever you're saying. Okay, and so use it at the end of the sentence. Okay, and so depending on the context, it could means agreement, confirmation, request, warning, ordering, any of those things. Okay, could be any of those things. So really depends on the context. Okay, so it's used at the end of the phrase or end of the sentence. Okay, so next one is na. Now this one, it's also very similar, like got lots of pronunciations. Okay, so this one is to form a question. Okay, it's like English which. Okay, why and how. But in Chinese, sometimes in Chinese, they a lot of time look at what, why, and any, someone. In English, they separate, but in Chinese, they use the same character. Okay. For example, 哪个来？哪个？It could be a question, and also could be referring to anyone or someone. Okay, and so it depends on the sentence structure. Okay, and the context, and you have to decide what it means. Okay, now it doesn't mean that's ambiguous. It's not. Okay, so once you encounter enough sentences, and you will know that's they're not ambiguous at all. Okay, so you will know whether this is referred to someone or is asking a question who. Okay, and now it could be who, or it could be where, it could be which. Okay, so this is 哪个哪里哪儿哪个人这是哪。Okay, second one 呢now 呢 is only used in referring to the name, used in the name for a legendary figure in Chinese fairy tale, Chinese legend. A boy, the name of the boy called 哪吒. Okay, 哪吒. Not long ago, there's a very good animation movie made about 哪吒. Okay, so 哪. And next one, 奶. 奶 is a modification of 哪. Okay, so meaning wise, it's the exact same thing. Okay, but sometimes people say 哪个 instead of say 哪个. So which way to say doesn't matter. Okay, either way is fine. 哪个哪天哪个哪天都可以and so yeah anyway 都可以 OK next one 哪哪 means which or when and usually is combined with so followed by 哪一天so usually when you say you can also say 哪一天 people won't feel awkward or feel strange about it okay but most commonly people would say 哪一天 okay so 哪一天 is more common and then 哪一天 okay so that doesn't mean that 哪一天哪棵树是is wrong okay it's not wrong it's just which way is more common okay and I would guess sometimes maybe because it's regional so some region maybe they are more used to say in a particular way okay 那 is 轻声the fifth is a modification of the sound of看you can say 看also you can say 看okay 你要留神你要留神okay and so it's a modification of so function wise it's the same thing okay you can use both and I think that's it this is the next one character okay so this is today's lesson from 笑 all the way to 哪of this okay so we learned all the characters that describing sound okay so happy learning thanks a lot bye bye